The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro, bringing you the biggest headlines from around the world. Depravity in the worst imaginable way. That's how U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken describes Hamas's rampage in Israel. Blinken went to the country following last Saturday's attacks, his first stop in a Middle East tour aimed at stopping spillover from the war between Israel and Hamas. Blinken said Washington will try to help secure the release of hostages kidnapped by Hamas, some of whom are Americans. He will also push for talks with Israelis and Egyptians on providing a safe passage for Gaza civilians out of the enclave before a possible Israeli ground invasion. After Israel, Blinken traveled to Jordan to meet with King Abdullah and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas.
We're doing everything we can to secure the release of the hostages, working closely with our Israeli partners, and we'll stay on the ground here to support the efforts to free their loved ones. Hamas continues to use civilians as human shields, intentionally putting civilians in harm's way. We did discuss ways to address the humanitarian needs of people living in Gaza, to protect them from harm while Israel conducts its legitimate security operations to defend itself from terrorism.
The United Nations World Food Program warns that crucial supplies are running dangerously low in the Gaza Strip after Israel imposed a total blockade on the territory. Since Monday, Israel had blocked the entry of food, fuel, and water into the coastal territory, as well as shuttering all crossing points into the city. The International Committee of the Red Cross had earlier announced that fuel for hospital generators in Gaza would run out shortly. Its stocks of aid and medicine within Gaza were also stranded due to lack of safe passage as Tel Aviv continues its air attacks on the enclave. The WFP now urges Israel and Egypt to create secure corridors so that the group will be able to bring supplies into Gaza. Hundreds of demonstrators gather in central Paris for a banned rally in support of the Palestinian people. Demonstrators chanted accusations of French President Emmanuel Macron being an accomplice to Israel's actions. French police used tear gas and water cannons to break up the rally. The French Interior Ministry earlier banned pro-Palestinian protests, saying they were likely to generate disturbances to public order. Macron also called on avoiding divisions and said the government had acted to boost police protection of Jewish sites. Macron previously condemned Hamas's attack and voiced solidarity with Israel. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now World. I'm Diego Castro. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow will expand its defense cooperation with Kyrgyzstan. Putin made the remark during an event for the 20-year anniversary of a Russian airbase near the Kyrgyz capital Bishkek. Kyrgyz President Sadir Japarov said a joint air defense system would serve as a tool to protect the common airspace against threats. Putin is making a two-day visit to Kyrgyzstan, during which he is due to attend a Commonwealth of Independent States summit on Friday. This is his first international visit since the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for him in March. The World Meteorological Organization reports that the global hydrological cycle is changing due to climate change. The report showed that over 50% of global catchment areas experience deviations from normal river discharge conditions, with most of them drier than normal, like China's Yangtze River. On the other extreme, it cited floods in Pakistan that killed more than 1,700 people last year. The water report is only the second such analysis done by the WMO, which called for a fundamental policy shift towards better monitoring. A Reuters journalist in Gaza welcomed his newborn son while covering the Israeli bombardments. From covering airstrikes and funerals, journalist Mohammed Salem stood in a maternity ward holding his son. Salem expressed his gratitude for the good news amid his coverage of violence in Gaza.
زوجتي أنجبت ولد سميته عبد الله. طبعا هذا الخبر السعيد أجى في ظل ظروف بنعيشها، ظروف صعبة جدا خلال الحرب وتغطيتنا للحرب في قطاع غزة. طبعا هذا كان مش سهل علي، لأنه أنا أغلب الفترة اللي فاتت كنت كل يوم معدل أصور جنازات وشهداء بشكل كبير، فجاني في ظل هذا الوجع والألم اللي كنت أنا بغطيه سواء في خلال المستشفيات أو في الشوارع اللي برصدها بعدستي كل يوم، فجاءني هذا الخبر السعيد. طبعا مزج الفرح مع الألم، لكن في النهاية هذه هي الحياة وبدها تمشي يعني.
And those are the top world headlines of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.